Hello, and welcome to Positively Psyched with Rod Loudon. Are you in a relationship with an emotional blackmailer? I'll look at the types of emotional blackmail and what you can do if you're in a relationship with this type of individual. If you're in California and are interested in starting therapy, please give me a call or email me regarding a free consultation. Emotional blackmail is a manipulative tactic in which one party uses guilt, fear, or the other person's vulnerabilities as a way to try and control their behavior. Often subtle, it is toxic in nature, forcing the target to make decisions against their own best interests to avoid emotional and other repercussions. Emotional blackmailers tend to be highly anxious and fear being abandoned or feel that they are not lovable and that they lack value and worth. They resort to using emotional blackmail because they think it is required for them to receive love. In particular, survivors of trauma often experience fear and anxiety and are prone to engaging in emotional blackmail. So, that said, here are the 4 types of emotional blackmail. First, we have the self-punishers. The self-punisher will tell their target how their resistance will hurt them. This is intended to make the target feel guilty and fearful of causing them pain. They pull at the heartstring in order to get what they want. Next, we have the punishers. Punishers are insistent on getting their own way. They will threaten harm if their demand is not met. Punishers can be very intimidating and prey on the target's fear of loss or abandonment or being hurt. There is no subtleness to their approach. The target better do what the emotional blackmailer says or they will pay a price. Next, we have victims or sufferers. Victims or sufferers use subtle manipulation. They don't directly state what they want. They try to make the target feel guilty in order to get what they want from them. They prey on the other person's sense of kindness and a need to be valued through the process of helping others. Lastly, we have the tantalizers. Tantalizers are the most subtle form of emotional blackmailers. They make big promises, but with the promises comes conditions. There's always an excuse or another condition that the target needs to meet before they can follow through on their commitments. So, what can you do if you are caught in the web of an emotional blackmailer? First, it is important that you set boundaries. Setting clear boundaries and sticking to them is essential to changing the relationship dynamics with an emotional blackmailer. It allows the emotional blackmailer to know the expectations one has for them, and if those needs and expectations are not met, there will be consequences. Often, when one sets a boundary, another may test it. It's very important not to back down. Otherwise, you're communicating that you are powerless to enforce the boundary, which will only lead to further boundary crossings and violations. Next, you can seek out therapy and support. Seeking therapy and support can equip individuals with the tools to navigate the complexities of an emotional blackmail relationship. A therapist can provide coping mechanisms, boundary setting techniques, and insights that can be used to create positive changes. In addition, attending a support group puts one in contact with others who are having similar experiences, and thereby you'll feel less alone. It is also important to communicate in a more effective manner. Being a skilled communicator is essential in maintaining healthy relationships, because individuals who use emotional blackmail often have fear, anxiety, and low self-esteem. It is essential to make them feel safe. Thus, sharing the intent at the beginning of a conversation you are starting with them is essential. Don't put them down. Don't put them on the defensive. In addition to sharing intent, it is important that you stay focused on reaching the goal of the conversation. In this way, you can create a collaborative approach and can brainstorm regarding how negative behaviors can be decreased and ways that both of you can help each other shift the relationship to a healthier place. It is the emotional blackmailer's unresolved trauma that you need to help them start to address. The intent should not be to punish them for their behavior, but to help them deal with the anxiety and fear and other negative emotions that are pushing them around. And at the same time, it's essential that you look at your own issues that have allowed you to enter into a relationship with an emotional blackmailer. In conclusion, through decades of experience helping people become empowered by changing the dynamics of their own relationships with their own problems, it is clear that three problematic relationships cause a tremendous amount of suffering. These are relationships with low self-esteem, anxiety, and fear. People who engage in emotional blackmail and those who allow themselves to be emotionally blackmailed all have relationships with one or more of these negative mental forces. When we take responsibility for maintaining these problematic relationships, we move out of a victim stance and into a position of power. Power to change how we view ourselves and the world around us. When we understand that people will only treat us in the ways that we allow them to, we can set new standards and then we are treated differently. One of the sayings that I've created and lived by is that there is no great without hard. If you want to be great, the universe will provide the hard. Changing is hard. Facing fear is hard. Owning our own stuff is hard. Trying to do this alone, super hard. Don't fear the hard. Instead, face fear and walk toward it with as many allies as possible. Greatness awaits on the other side. Again, if you're in California and are interested in starting therapy, please give me a call or email me regarding a free consultation. If you'd like to read more on the subject of emotional blackmail, click on the link on my homepage to read my recently published article on emotional blackmail on the website Choosing Therapy. Until next time, namaste.